host, Chris Crenshaw, and for one final time in 2021, we are live from the 704. Once again for episode 71 of the 815 Exchange. Yes, this is the final time I will grace this iconic blue couch here in 2021. As it's my last week of uni before I depart back to the 336 where we'll be live from for the rest of the year. Now, of course, I'm very excited to be done with this semester. I cannot explain to you how burnt out I am. In fact, after this, after I record this, which also, I guess, disclaimer, I don't know when this is going to go up. It might be up later than usual. Actually, probably will be up later than usual, as I have 2 exams today. One directly after I record this, and then I have another one a little bit later on in the day. So that'll be interesting. Wish me luck. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, I did very well. And then I have 2 at the end of the week on Thursday. So we got a very hectic day. We got a very hectic week upcoming. And then hopefully I will be, well, actually not hopefully, I will be freed from the shackles that is college. I promise it's not all bad. And I will miss this place. I will miss the 704. But yeah, I'm finished. I'm done. I'm checked out. But I am not checked out of the sports world, and I am not checked out of entertainment, because good lord, especially in combat sports, man, it was a wild. We're gonna talk about the UFC card first as always, but it was what a week. We didn't even have football this week, right? Which just dominated the past couple months for me, and for the show. We did not have a lick of football to talk about, really. Besides, I guess, Quinn Ewers. We had Army-Navy play. But no college football segment for the first time in a long time. Still got the NFL, but no college football segment. It's been kind of a staple. So won't have that. As always, description has everything you're looking for. Social media links, timestamps, whatever you want to skip forward. It's got everything you're looking for. And as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content, which it seems like you have. Especially the last couple videos. It's been kind of, y'all have been doing very good. Very good on the support, so I appreciate it. But while I try to warm up here, let's hop into something I'm passionate about to help me warm up here early in the morning here on this glorious December the 13th. And that means we are starting off with none other than combat sports. UFC 269. Charlie Olives, the Diamond, Dustin Poirier. You all knew what it was. We talked about it last week. I will come out and I will admit, right hand down, if I had to pick, I said, it's on video, it's not like I can deny it. If I had to pick, I said I'd pick Dustin, because I was like, I feel like if Dustin can hit him, he might be able to put the lights out, because Charles is proved to be hittable. Well, Dustin did. He hit Charlie Olives. He definitely did. First round, hit him a couple times. I mean, it was an insane pace-wise. First off, insane pace in the first round. There was no way they were going to keep that up. That is, I immediately knew in the middle of that first round, I was like, okay, this is not going 5 rounds. There's absolutely no shot. It was an insane first round. One of the best rounds of the year. Olives gets knocked down. I'm like, okay, Dustin, he might be in control. But it took a rib at those knees. It seemed like Charlie Olives was investing in the body quite a bit, especially with those knees. He caught him really clean one time, and all of a sudden it seemed like Dustin was breathing a little bit heavier. It seemed like he was a little bit more tired than we're used to seeing Dustin at the end of that first round. And that's when I had a feeling that this fight wasn't going to go maybe as I expected. Not that I really had expectations on the fight, but man, oh man, with Charlie Olives, and by the way, that was not a glove grab. That was not. But when Charlie Olives finally got Dustin into a grappling exchange and was finally able to take him down in that second round and did not let him up. Did not. There was no shot he was letting DP back up, and he didn't. He did not. Not a chance He was letting Dustin get up. I don't even know if Dustin was trying, or at least we would think he was trying, but Dustin could not get up. Of course, his grappling defense is not the best. He's more of a boxer, that's why he's one of the best at that, at throwing hands in the UFC. But the grappling exchange, he was getting beat. And on the ground, that second round was some of the most grimy, disgusting ground and pound I have ever seen in my life. That was, it was disgustingly beautiful. It was doing everything you can in the legal parameters, but just barely. Just barely. Smothering it. It felt like it was wrong. It felt like there's no way this is legal. Oliveira smothered Poirier in that second round. Really, that was a 10-8 round in my opinion, but completely smothered him when his hands weren't just all up in his face when he was trying to move him around. He was throwing these vicious, vicious elbows that weren't like the scraping, cutting elbows. These were the thud elbows, and it was just it was a dominating second round, and it set the tone. It set the tone, and then in the third round, DP just looked tired, and Olivier was able to get his back, and he looked like an anaconda or a python. Dude, it was like a snake. The way he slithered on his back and then slowly was about to squeeze the life from Dustin Poirier. As ladies and gentlemen, and still your king at 155 is Charles Oliveira, Brazilian Superman. And it's well-deserved. It's very, very well-deserved. Charlie Oliveira, he's that guy. I didn't mind either one of them winning. I think a little bit of me, I think I might have said this, I actually kind of wanted Charlie Oliveira to win. Just because I feel like he deserves a nice little long reign, but 155 full of killers, so that's not guaranteed. That is not at all guaranteed that he's going to have a long reign, but a huge, very decisive win against Dustin Poirier. He was a favorite in this fight, by the way. I would have taken those odds. I would have definitely taken those odds on Charlie Oliveira if I was a betting man. The next fight, however, I wouldn't have taken him. But before I get to that, and probably the title sake of this show, the future of 155, Gaethje, I think, obviously, beat Chandler, give him Charlie Olive's. I think that's the next fight. I don't think Gaethje's gonna beat Charlie Olive's though. I think Charlie Olive's, just too good on the ground. I think he'll be able to get Justin down, even with Justin's takedown defense. They could be able to get him down, grapple him, and I think could be able to sub him. Honestly, Olive's is different. That Brazilian BJJ, he's the best. He's the best at it. And I feel like if he can get Gaethje, and I think he will, I think that's how that goes. Islam is taking on Benil, I'm pretty sure, so we got that, and then maybe Islam gets the next shot for that. That's honestly like a better Tony versus a worse Khabib, so maybe it's a little bit more fair. Khabib's disciple and Islam, and then you got the Tony comparisons for Charles, so that'd be an interesting fight. Hopefully that we see eventually. But Olivier's story, great. Charlie Oliveira, he's that dude. In the co-main event, ladies and gentlemen, I still am in. You know how I said I had taken the odds on Charlie Oliveira over Poirier. I would not have taken the odds, even though somebody did. I'm sure somebody did, and they're very, very wealthy, for one of the biggest upsets in the history of, obviously, combat sports, but I dare say sports in general. Juliana Pena was written off all week, was written off ahead of the fight. There were some people that were like, maybe Pena wins this. Maybe. Not really too much sincerity in that, but there were some people here and there, right? I don't think anybody could have predicted, however, what happened on Saturday night when Pena and Nunes hopped in that cage. I don't think anybody would have expected what happened when Pena and Nunes hopped in that cage. I still don't know if I've grasped fully what happened when Pena and Amanda the Lioness, the greatest women's mixed martial artist of all time to ever walk the earth. The two other GOAT contenders she put out in under a minute. She was the #1 pound-for-pound female fighter on the planet. the baddest woman on the planet, one of the most dominant champions ever. She cleaned out 2 divisions. There's not even rankings at 145 anymore. This is Amanda Nunes, the best ever, the GOAT, the G-WOAT. But the Amanda Nunes we saw in that cage on Saturday was not the G-WOAT. I don't know who that was, really, because it seemed like, in the best way I can describe it, it seemed like she was in shock. In shock that Juliana Pena was actually hitting her. Like she was in disbelief that I'm actually getting jabbed up and pieced up right now. And then when I hit her, she's not going to sleep like everybody else. What is this? So it's like she threw away the game plan. She took her down. First round, Nunes won pretty clearly. Was able to get her on the ground and then smothered her. I mean, Pena couldn't really do much. Nunes dominated on the ground. Ironically, because Pena was supposed to be better on the ground, but I digress. Then, second round comes. It looked like a Derrick Lewis fight. We were just swinging and banging. And Pena would not go down. And she was starting to beat Amanda Nunes in a striking exchange, which is something I can't say. I mean, I've never been able to say since I don't know when. This is the woman that beat another woman's greatest of all time contender, who I guess is now the #1 pound for pound woman, in Valentina Shevchenko. This beat her twice. And we know how good Shev is on the feet. Yet Juliana Pena was beating this woman in a striking exchange and was hurting Amanda Nunes. I was in I couldn't believe it. And then when Amanda was clearly hurt, she would not shoot. She would not go for the shot. She would not, try to switch levels. There was no level change. She just threw her IQ. She just threw all that out of the window and just said, I'm going to swing and bang. I don't know if it was ego and thinking that, okay, eventually there's no way this woman, every woman I've touched has fallen. She's going to touch. She's going to fall. So eventually I'm going to connect and she's going to fall. But Amanda never was able to connect. And Pena just jabbed and hooked and straight right. Jab, straight right. Uppercut. Wasn't like it was a beautiful, sweet science. It was fairly beautiful though. I gotta give credit to Pena. But just pieced up Amanda Nunes, which is gets Nunes to the ground, and then she didn't really choke her out. She was fighting for position, and then Amanda said she didn't really have it in too tight. But ladies and gentlemen, Juliana Pena is your new bantamweight champion, and I can't believe I'm saying this. It's one of the most shocking moments of the year. It's one of the most shocking moments in UFC history. The crowd reaction was insane. Misha Tate, Kayla Harrison, who was given the no hottest free agent type billing. Michael Chiesa jumped over the barricade, fell. Apparently he busted trying to get into the octagon. Of course, him and Pena met up after in the backstage area. But just, it's insane. It's insane. All credit due to Pena though. All credit due. But just, I can't believe. Nunes, of course, you're going to have the rematch, but I don't know what happened. It was just like she was really in disbelief that this was happening, just like we were. And then her ego got the best of her, and she got beat. Doesn't mean she's not I saw some people like, oh, is this the GOAT? Yes. Amanda Nunes is still absolutely the GOAT. This woman has beaten Shev twice, knocked out Rousey, like I said, in under a minute, knocked out Cyborg in under a minute, and cleaned out 2 divisions. She was the double champ. Alright, it's not really up for discussion. It's not even really close in terms of her being the greatest women's mixed martial artist of all time. It's like it's Amanda Nunes and then there's everybody else. But she got beat. All due credit to Pena. We'll see if she can hold it on and keep it going in the rematch. But, we'll see. Might show up a trilogy there. I'm sure Dana's actually happy so he can make some more money off of this, because Nunes was running out of people to beat. But nonetheless, insane upset. Moving on here on UFC 269, Kai Kara France KO's Cardi Garbrandt in his debut at flyweight, not KKF's, but in Cody's. He's done. He's done. No love is done. He's finished. Cody, thanks for having you. You had that electrifying. For one night only, you were the best in the world against Dominic Cruz. An incredible performance. But every time since, it was like you climaxed right there, and ever since it's been straight down. Straight down. Now, all due credit to do, Kai Kara France was extremely underrated. Of course, he's got to be next in line soon for a title shot at flyweight, if not be next in line. But Cody, you're done, bro. Your chin is shot. I know Kai hits like a truck, especially for a flyweight, but you're done. You're done. It's over. The dream is over. You're finished. Retire for your own health. The Suga Show continued against Roland Pava. Now I know you'll be like, oh, Roland was unranked, but I mean, he was only unranked for a month, and it's not like he lost until yesterday. The Suga Show will be ranked by the time the new rankings come out for the UFC. However, huge KO over Roland. That finishing sequence was just insane. The precision is good. A lot of people are writing, Sean off just because they do not like him or like his personality, even though his personality is not that cringy or whatever. Nonetheless, Sean's got immense potential. We've been saying this. His stand-up game is just ridiculous. Gotta, work on the other elements of the game, but that striking potential is it's outrageous. It's just outrageous, dude. His timing, his feints, it's just all so crispy, so polished. And yeah, he's getting people up out of here. It's an exciting fighter to watch. That's why he's developed the following he has. But yeah, all credit due to Sean. He gets he gets Rollin out of there, and we'll see where he goes from now. I think he'll get a ranked opponent next, and we'll see who the UFC gives him. Now to end off with the rest of this card, because once again, another great card. This was probably one of the best years for the UFC ever, if I'm being honest. So many great cards this year. Shout out to the matchmakers. So many great cards. Dominic Cruz, speaking of Dom, he got the UD over Pedro Munoz in a great fight. Munoz looked like, he was going to take Dom out of there a couple times, but Dom just refused. He wasn't trying to get Peterson, like they said, and Dom was able to get the win. Also, Tai Tusiava, the Shui, knocked out Sakai in fantastic fashion. I think Tai's on like a 4 or 5 fight win streak, moving on up in those heavyweight rankings, and of course, still will do it through the Shui in there. And we got the Shui. Tai, great personality, great for the sport, honestly, and all that jazz. That was fantastic to watch, and very exciting UFC card. I can't say enough about it. Once again, what a year it's been for the UFC. UFC 269 delivered. It just feels like every card delivered this year for the UFC. So many great moments, so many great fights. Can't wait for next year. Of course, we started off with Nagano versus Gagne, so that should be very exciting. But for the UFC this year, that was it. But we do have boxing. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we have to conclude, conveniently everybody at 135, which we've talked about the past 2 weeks, just decided to fight here in these last couple weeks here in December and of the year. After the young guys got to it, Garcia's injured, so we won't, involve Ryan at the moment. The old dog, Vasily Lomachenko, took on Richard Comey, and it wasn't even close, bro. It wasn't even close. This was a murder. This was a licensed murder, just about. Loma schooled Comey for 7 rounds before it was done. There was disrespect. I mean, he came to prove a point, and he definitely proved that point. He was bullying. Comey. It just wasn't close. It wasn't a competitive fight. I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't a competitive fight. Appreciate the heart for Comey, but Loma just dominated. He was telling dude to go to his own corner. It was ridiculous. Insane performance from Loma, again proving why he's one of the best in the world. Now he thinks he's in line for the next title shot, but listen, my boy, Vasily. No doubt you're one of the best in the world. We're honestly up there for pound #1 not too long ago. But listen, I know you're on the win streak now, but listen. We got to get undisputed settled, all right? So we're going to get Ferocious versus The Dream. And then you can face Tank, like I've insisted the past 2 weeks. And winner of that gets, to face for the undisputed title. You want to stay at 135, that's fine. Fight Tank. Tank, stop ducking. Fight Loma. You want the ultimate test to prove that you are that guy. You want to put up those massive pay-per-view numbers that you and Mayweather talk about. Here's Loma. You beat Loma. You prove that you're that guy. You'll probably be favored against whoever wins, the undisputed title. Loma, you want to leave no doubt that you are the best at 135. You want to take out all the young guns. Take out the one everybody claims is the best. Also, the fight just makes so much sense the way y'all bounce between weight classes, even though it seems like I want to stay at 135, both of you. But I digress. Makes too much sense. Loma versus Tank is where I think we should go there. And of course, Haney versus Kambosos is obvious. Got to get the undisputed title. Might as well unify all the belts. Let's get it done. The other boys. Oh, Ryan. I heard some rumblings about Isaac Cruz. Now, I'm down for that. Honestly, I'm down for that because Ryan needs a nice little tune-up fight. Not to say that Cruz can't beat Ryan, though he wouldn't be favorited. We need Ryan Garcia to prove that he is still Ryan Garcia. So I'm all for giving him Cruz. He beats Cruz, he knocks him out, whatever it is, he wins the fight. Then he can move up. We can get back to talking about him soon to be in championship conversations with the rest of his peers. But of course, coming off the injury, I'm not going to shove you into a title fight immediately. You got to earn it. Beat a contender, and then we can talk about it. So Cruz fight, they want to make that happen. I'm down for it. But yeah, Loma, School Comey, Loma versus Tank, Haney versus Kambosos, 135. Listen, just run me the check. Run me the check. I did the booking for you. I'll send you my information, and we can get it popping. I'll even help cover. Some of the media, for you. So just go ahead, do that, and easy fix. But that was a great week in combat sports. Honestly, great week. College basketball. We gotta have a college segment, right? College basketball is back, and wow. I do have to say the Charlotte 49ers got back to business against Valpo, I believe. We get the win. Jameer Young got back to doing Jameer Young things, and we won on our last second basket. There was also plenty going on in the rest of college basketball on the national slate as there's a new number one for the third straight week. We have a new number one team. We'll see if this will last. Even though if Baylor and Scott Drew continue to play defense the way they did against Villanova, looks like they might be number one for a while because Baylor wins 57-36. 36. Not an exaggeration. They scored 36 points. They held them to 36 points. Baylor lost all of that talent. Jared Butler, Davion Mitchell, Mark Vidal, Teague. They lost all that. Just to still be right there. Scott Drew, what a way he's developed as a coach. Just the culture at Baylor now. The expectation for Baylor now. And the physicality and with the intention that they play is just different. He's changed that program. And they shut down Villanova. Now, Akinjino also had a good game. Scored 16, 7, and 5. But just as a collective, as a whole, the way they put a vice grip on that Villanova offense, who managed to shoot 22.2% from the field and also 22.2% from three. It was just incredible. Baylor deserves to be the number one team, especially after Purdue lost earlier in the week. We're about to talk about Purdue, actually. After they lost earlier in the week, shout out to Ron Harper Jr. All credit due, man. Baylor, defending national champs, look like they're the best team in the nation currently. We'll see what happens from there. Villanova, I think y'all just ran into a buzzsaw. Y'all be all right. Purdue, the former number one team, as I said earlier in the week, they lost to Ron Harper Jr., who's got to be one of the best players in college basketball. I don't know why he's gotten so far under the radar. Maybe it's because Rutgers is not one of these premier teams. But RHJ is a beast. He showed that with that game winner and just with 30 and 10 in general in that game. Insane finish to that one. But we also had an insane finish here again. Purdue and NC State. Purdue gets taken to overtime by NC State, but they were able to survive. Trevion Williams had the game of his life, 22, 12, and 9. The big fella almost gets the triple-double, looking like Jokic out there. Jaden Ivey had 22, National Player of the Year candidate. Terquavion Smith, I got to give a shout to the freshman from the Hoop State as well. Had 21, best performance of his career so far. A lot of people are high on him in Raleigh, so we'll see where the rest of his career goes. I know he was one of the top guys last year coming out of high school, so Turk living up to the hype, but Purdue taken to the brink. Almost was a nightmare week for the Boilermakers, but thanks to T-Will, thanks to Ivy, they're able to just get by NC State in overtime and advance. In the other ranked matchups, we had Alabama take on Houston. Of course, you guys all saw Houston's reaction to taking that L. I'm sure on TikTok or on social media, it wasn't too great. Even though somebody did come up, I do need to say somebody, one of the players did come back and clean it up and all that type of stuff. But this was a very, very intense matchup. Went down to the wire. Bama was able to hang on 83-82. J.D. Davidson late. One of the best freshmen in the country, highly rated draft prospect. Needs to work on that shot, but all the athleticism in the world. 10 points, 9 rebounds for J.D. Gary had 19 points to lead Alabama in scoring. Marcus Sasser, now he had 25, but the problem is he also went 8 for 25 and 4 from 14 from 3. That's what you call shooting yourself out of a game. And got to be more efficient if you want to win these big games. Alabama, huge win. Of course, they got that three-headed monster of guards, Shackelford, JQ, and JD. We'll see where they can lead them. But Bama, huge win versus Houston here. Notre Dame with the upset over Kentucky. And this kind of has me worried about Duke, because we, like Kentucky, have also taken essentially a month away from college basketball and a month away from playing since that Ohio State game. We finally play again tomorrow. So it's been a while. Kentucky also, it'd been a while. And it looked like it'd been a while because Notre Dame was able to pull off the upset 66-62. When I saw Oscar Schwebe only had 7 rebounds in this game, I knew what was up. Now, he scored 25 and still was the best player on the court for them. But I saw 7 rebounds, I was like, uh-oh. Oscar didn't have 19, boards in this game. What happened? Something happened. Big Blake Wesley, the freshman, hometown hero, with the go-ahead late, and Notre Dame is able to get it done versus UK. Huge win, storm the court. Kentucky. I'm not going to say Calipari's on the hot seat or anything, but it's kind of wearing off. The mystique around Kentucky is kind of wearing off at this point. I mean, they still recruit very well. I mean, best in the nation, right? But it's wearing off seeing these teams continue to disappoint or not play at the level that those recruiting classes are. It's starting to raise some questions. So we'll see if they eventually get answered. It's still early in the season, but Notre Dame gets the win over UK, gets the upset. Ohio State crushed Wisconsin 73-55. E.J. Liddell continues to prove why he's one of the best players in college basketball. 28-9 here. But also, both stars showed out in this game. Now, while Ohio State won this game pretty clearly, both stars showed out. Liddell showed out. Johnny Davis for Wisconsin has been one of the bigger stories amongst rising players and seeing the development of a guy kind of hopping into this upper echelon of players in college basketball. He had 24. He did his thing, but Wisconsin as a whole did not. And Ohio State able to get it done. It only makes our win look bigger, you know what I mean? Only makes our loss look a little bit better if Ohio State does better. So Ohio State, y'all kill it the rest of the season, man. Y'all killed the rest of the season. I hope tomorrow we figured out how to play, offense again after forgetting the entire second half of that game. But I digress. Congrats to Ohio State. And to end the college basketball segment here, we had Oklahoma upset Arkansas, and we also had Creighton upset BYU. There was a lot of upsets on Saturday. It was an upset-filled day. Felt like every ranked team that wasn't playing another ranked team fell. It was madness. It was madness in December, and we're not supposed to get mad till March. So could be an indication of how this college ball season, is going to go. It could end up like college football this season, where we had a lot of craziness happen. But we'll see. One thing that remains, though, from this week in college basketball and this year so far is that Baylor is once again for real, and they're going to be a contender. So we'll see what happens with that was college basketball. Going over to the entertainment segment, we had Hawkeye episode 4. Yelena is here. Yelena is here. Yelena has arrived. And of course they drew the parallels to Clint saying, his best shot was the shot he did not take when he was sent to get rid of Natasha, and he did not kill Natasha. And she eventually became like family to him, became his best friend and all that type of stuff. And it's really one of the reoccurring themes of this, show is how much he misses Natasha. Well, now we have her sister. And Kate Bishop, the great Kate Bishop, had a shot to take the shot on Yelena, but did not take the shot. And Yelena was able to get away. So I honestly am down for Kate and Yelena, team up, friendship. I'm down for that. I feel like those two characters, from what we saw in Black Widow and from what we've seen with Yelena, from what we've seen from Kate, I just feel like they meshed really well. And it seems like Haley Steinfeld just has chemistry with everybody. But yeah, Hawkeye episode 4, very good episode. Show continues to progress. Very interested to see where we'll go here. It seems like everything's starting to merge here, We got the stuff with Jack, we got the stuff with Echo, and now we got to deal with Yelena. Clint tried to separate from Kate, I guess, to protect her. We know Kate's not going to go for that. We'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens here in episode 5. Should be an interesting one. Of course, the big news in Marvel this week is Spider-Man comes out this weekend. I will find some way, somehow, to get into a movie theater for that movie. I haven't figured out how yet, but we are going to figure out a way to go see this movie. Alright? I don't know what movie theater I have to sneak into or find my way. I will go see this movie. I will be going to see this movie. Not up for debate, no. I will go see this movie. We will be talking about that movie on episode 72. Alright? The hype is too real, and I'm not going to be able to avoid spoilers, because I know people are going to be right to spoiling if Toby and Andrew actually show up. You know it. Or whatever happens, or whoever dies, you know it. So I have to. It is essential for me to go see that movie. If y'all want to start a GoFundMe to make sure I get tickets, go ahead. If one of y'all want to buy me a ticket, go ahead. I'm going to see that movie. But music. Alone at Prom, we had Tory Lanez drop his 80s project. He's hyped for really almost a couple months now. And it was fantastic. I'm not going to give an official rating because I haven't gotten around to the second listen. But my lord, it's going to be high. It's going to be high. And we're talking 9s. We're talking, he just makes good music. He's an elite talent. He's so talented, so versatile. And this was another display of that. Alone at Prom was fantastic. He killed the theme. The music was great. I think the color violet was one of my original standouts. But that could change because, again, only on my first listen, it was terrific. It was absolutely terrific. Highly recommend it if you're looking for that 80s R&B feel. Here it is. He emasculated it perfectly. Shout out to Tory. He killed it. Alone at Prom. Go listen to it now. Juice WRLD also had another posthumous album drop. Have not listened to it. I've heard mixed reviews. I may get around to it. I may not. I don't know how I feel. Not that I don't like Juice. I love Juice as an artist. But my thing is, it feels, and some people I know share the same sentiment, it feels hard for me. It's hard for me to listen to him. I'm trying not to get. It's hard for me to listen to Juice and him talk about the subject material like addiction and overdosing and life. It's hard for me and death. It's hard for me to listen to him nowadays because of knowing how he died and how he went out. Just because it hits a little bit harder. And yeah, nothing against him. He's amazing. It was going to be an amazing artist. Going to be one of the biggest artists in the world. But it's just, again, like I said, I'm sure some of you guys also share this sentiment. Nothing wrong with listening to him. And I may get around to the album, but it's hard for me. Because it's just like you think about how he died, and it's like it's kind of haunting. him talking about how all these vices haunted him throughout his life, and it's what took him. So, yeah, it's tough. Rest in peace to Juice. For those that enjoyed the album and enjoyed him, super Juice fans, hope you guys did enjoy the album. Hope he did do him justice. And yeah, that's all I really got to say about that. Rest in peace to Juice. If you haven't listened to the album, feel free to listen to it. Tory held it down. Can't wait for Spider-Man. Hawkeye episode 5. We need it. It felt like the NFL. I don't know if they knew that I wasn't going to have as much content this week, even though this still is going to end up being like a 50-minute, hour-long episode. I just know it. It felt like the NFL just knew. They were like, Chris doesn't have too much to talk about, so we're going to give him plenty to talk about. Vikings and the Steelers. And we kicked it off on Thursday night, right? It wasn't like a boring Thursday night game. No. The Vikings were putting it on the Steelers. Putting it on them. I think it was what? Let me pull it up. Yeah, it was 29-0 at one point in time in this game. I mean, they were beating the brakes off of the Steelers. But then, Pittsburgh rallies, and they get it all the way back. They make a comeback. They're coming back in the game. Looks like they might even pull this off. But ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't to be. It was not to be, and the Vikings get it done. Vikings get it done, and it's a big part to Dalvin Cook going for 205 and 2 touchdowns. He ran wild on the Steelers defense. Ran wild. They had no answer for Dalvin. They had no Cook. One of the people in my fantasy team, my fantasy league, their fantasy team's name is Cook Bout to Cook. And Cook Pittsburgh. Yeah, I mean, he cooked them. They could not stop Dalvin. He dominated. Steelers fought back. Ben had another week where he didn't look too washed. 28 for 40, 308, 3 touchdowns. Najee had 94 and a touchdown. But oh dear, Chase Claypool. Oh dear, Chase Claypool. You're not that guy. You're not that guy. I mean, you're a talented, very, very talented player, but it just doesn't seem like it's connecting for him. I think he's getting lost in the sauce a little bit. I think Chase is getting lost in the perils of fame currently. You have to have the awareness. You have to be a smarter player to know that we're driving down the field. I just made a big catch. Get the ball down. Let's keep it going. We have a shot to win this game, or at least send it to overtime, which is the same thing. But I got to get the ball down, and we got to keep going. This is not the time for me to first down. No, my boy. No. Just a completely boneheaded play. Completely boneheaded. It's like you forgot what time it was. It's winning time. It's not time to celebrate. Celebrate when you win. Throughout the game, that's fine. I'm all for celebration. It's fun, right? Celebrating your big plays. But that was not the time for that. You have to have the maturity. You have to have the awareness to know it's winning time. I can't be doing all that. We're trying to win a game, and I'm wasting time to taunt, and then I get mad at my teammate for taking the ball away from me. You got to have the awareness. That's the diva stuff that people talk about with Pittsburgh receivers. You're a receiver factory. You print them out, it seems. Great receivers. But that was just divish. That was stereotypical wide receiver divish stuff from Chase Claypool and the way he's acted. The way he's acted for a little bit now. Again, immense talent. Immensely talented. But dude's just it seems like he has no awareness or no IQ of the game right now. Hopefully Tomlin's able to get his lay back on because they need him. But I don't know. Maybe they don't. They might not need Chase Claypool. I can't even really say they need him. Because Deontay Johnson, James Washington can definitely hold it down. And they can just get another receiver. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They don't need Claypool. But Claypool definitely needs the Steelers, I'd say. It needs to, get his head on wrap. Vikings, well done. Dalvin Cook is a monster. Cowboys and the Washington team, the Washington football team. We did everything possible. To lose this game. We tried everything possible to hand Washington this game, but still managed to barely scrape away a win, 27-20. Dak had his worst game I've seen him play in a while. Zeke couldn't get going, but you know who was able to get going? The guard. 3 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for a loss for Micah Parsons. And one of them was a forced fumble. Randy Gregory also had a pick. The defense held it down. Trevon Diggs had Terry McLaurin before Terry. Again, hopefully scary Terry. Hopefully that boy is okay. Heard it might be a concussion. Hopefully he's not out too long. Hopefully those symptoms aren't too bad. Trevon Diggs had Terry McLaurin in the torture chamber before he got concussed. Now, all credit due to my guy. What is his name? Yeah, Charles Sims, I believe. Yeah, Cam Sims, excuse me. Cam Sims, that was an insane catch. All credit due. Great touchdown. Got to give you your props there over Diggs. Diggs was great. But Micah Parsons is the Defensive Player of the Year, baby. Defensive Rookie and Defensive Player of the Year. I want to personally thank the Denver Broncos. I want to personally thank the Carolina Panthers for picking J.C. Horn and Pat Surtain. Hopefully those work out for you, because Micah Parsons is surely working out for us. What a monster, bro. What a monster. I'm so glad we drafted him. Games like yesterday made me want to get his jersey. As a rookie. We got Micah. That's the reason why we won this game, I'm going to be honest. We won because we had Micah Parsons, and the Washington football team did not. That's really all it is to it. Shots to the defense, they held it down, which is something we haven't really been able to say about the Cowboys, but it feels good to say. Browns and the Ravens, Lamar gets knocked out of the game, ankle injury. We don't know what it is yet. Huntley has to come in and deal with that and kind of persevere and try to lead this team. However, once again, another fantastic defensive player and Defensive Player of the Year candidate showed out in this game. Myles Garrett, another sack, improves his sack total to, I think, 14? I think for the season. 15? Yeah, 15 for the season. He's definitely a Defensive Player of the Year candidacy. Looking for the sack record, Myles is. He also had that fumble recovery for a touchdown. Yeah, just... It's Myles Garrett. It's Myles Garrett. He's about to be in the 99 club, well deserved. Dude's a monster. He was giving the Ravens problems all game long. Mark Andrews had a great game, 11 receptions, 115 and a touchdown. But it was not to be. Browns get the win 24-22. The Titans blanked the Jaguars. It's been a horrible time for the Jaguars. Urban Meyer's dealing with the stuff, the new reports there. Trevor actually started this game pretty well, but then he threw 4 interceptions. So it started off well, but then it just didn't. It didn't go well. J-Rob had 4. It was a nightmare game. I don't think Urban's making it out of the year. I just don't see it happening. The Titans were able to get it done, though. Congrats to them. The Chiefs beat the brakes off of the Raiders. They beat them like they stole something. 48-9, one of the most embarrassing losses for the Raiders against the Chiefs maybe ever. Did all that stuff pregame and did not show up during the game. Did a lot of this pregame. Did a lot of stumping pregame. But y'all were non-existent, nowhere to be found. When the game started, when that whistle blew, did not see the Las Vegas Raiders. Patrick Mahomes, 20 for 24, 258, 2 touchdowns. Darrell Williams got in the box. CEH got in the box. Hell, Flash Gordon got in the box. The Raiders got obliterated. Hunter Renfrow stood out. We talk about Renfrow, it seems like every week. It's Renfrow. He's a great receiver. That's all it is. In the story. Hunter Renfrow is that guy. His route running is so good. 13 receptions, 117 and a touchdown for Renfrow. But it wasn't a beat. It was like he was the only guy that showed up for the Raiders because they got obliterated. That defense just completely stuffed the Raiders all game long. And yeah, Chiefs get the win. Saints get the win over the Jets, 30-9. Though it was a great week last week for the Jets, it wasn't to be. It was a nightmare week for rookie quarterbacks, if I'm being honest. Trev with the 4 interceptions. Zach Wilson with 19 for 42. Just not pretty. Just not a pretty week. AK-41 was big time though. 120 and a touchdown for one of the best backs in the league. Saints needed this win. Needed this win to get back on track. The Jets, it felt like the Jets were possibly going to be able to pull up the upset here, but Saints quickly nullified any chance of that, handled their business. AK-41 did what he does, and the Saints were able to win. Falcons and the Panthers. The Cam Newton experiment has it's run its course. I hate to say it. I really hate to say it because I was singing Cam's praises when he first got there, but it's not been good since. 15 for 23 and a pick for Cam here. Yeah, he had over 200 yards total, was able to get a touchdown back, but it's just has not been smooth sailing. No CMC as well for the Panthers. It's just it's a rough time. It's a rough time for the Panthers. They're in a weird position where they're not bad enough to be with the worst teams in the league, but they're not good enough to really be talking wild card. It's just a unusual situation here in Charlotte. But the Falcons were able to get the win, continue to keep hope of playoff position. Cordell Patterson, once again, he's been the big story for the Falcons all year. The way he's been a weapon, had a rushing touchdown in this game, and yeah, Falcons able to get the win. Seahawks and the Texans. Russell, dangerous. Was dangerous once again. 17 for 28, 260, 2 touchdowns for Russ. Rashad Penny had a career game, 137 and 2 touchdowns. Tyler Lockett did Tyler Lockett stuff, 5 receptions, 142 and a touchdown. Davis Mills probably had the best week of any rookie quarterback, 33 for 49, 331 and a touchdown, but it wasn't to be. The Seahawks seemingly said, you know what, we're tired. We're tired of the mediocrity. We're tired of getting bullied around. We're not losing to the Texans. We're not going out like this, and they didn't go out like this. Like I said, offensive onslaught, Russ looked like Russ, and the Seahawks played like the Seahawks were supposed to play, and they get the win over the Texans. The Lions and the Broncos. 38-10, they get the win. Demaryius Thomas, once again, rest in peace to DT. Completely shocking event. You saw all the prayers go to his family, his friends, and everybody with the Broncos organization. That was stunning. And the Broncos looked like they came with that fire. They wanted to play for DT. They got the win here. Melvin Gordon, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. A lot of great rushing performances this week from one of the league's best backs. Teddy H2O had 2 touchdowns. The Lions got their win last week, but listen, it was a comeback down to earth moment. It was a comeback down to earth, you know. They're still the Lions at the end of the day. Welcome back. Welcome back to earth. Congrats on the win. It was amazing, fun to watch, but y'all are the Lions. Welcome back to, doing what the Lions do. The Chargers and the Giants. J Herbo. Need I say more? 20 for 31, 275, 3 touchdowns, including one of the prettiest balls to Jalen Guyton that you will ever see, who had 3 receptions, 87 yards, most of that coming from that beautiful 59-yarder. And Eckler, 67 yards rushing and a touchdown. Let's see, we had receiving. Actually, did not have anything receiving, which is stunning for Eckler. I didn't even notice that in the game. But J Herbo, he's back, baby. J Herbo is back. He's back. We said it last week. J Herbo is back. He had some air games, but the sophomore slump has concluded. It's back to business. The Giants could not do anything with them, and the Chargers able to get the win. The 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo, looking like his mentor down the stretch there in overtime, led the 49ers right down the field, and they were able to get it done. He goes 27 for 41, 296, 2 touchdowns. Burrow, 25 for 34, 348, and 2 touchdowns. So Burrow, Garoppolo, a little bit of quarterback duel as well here. Higgins had 5 receptions, 114, but like I said, wasn't enough. Overtime, they were able to get it done. Kittle looked like George Kittle for one of the first times this year, 13 receptions, 151, and a touchdown from one of the league's best tight ends. Let's see, Nick Bosa, immense. 2 sacks in this game for Bosa. 14 sacks this year. Dude, he's translated seamlessly. From Ohio State to San Fran. Besides the injury last year, he'd be putting up even more ridiculous numbers. Looks like he's fine after the injury.
back to business, second in the league in sacks. Congrats to Bosa. Congrats to 49ers as well for the big win. Buccaneers take out the Bills 33-27. Tom Brady. Overtime, another overtime game, another great game, was really the highlight game. A lot of people had eyes on this one, two of the best teams. A lot of people believed in the league, at least talent-wise. And yeah, Brady, still Brady. Bashar Perryman pulled away there late, 31-46, 363 and 2 touchdowns for Brady. Lombardi Lennon continues to be in great. Leonard Fournette, number 1 running back out of high school, number 1 running back coming out of college. Form 113 and a touchdown for Lenny. Godwin had 10 receptions, 105. What else? Evans, 6 receptions, 91 yards. And of course, Perryman, his only catch of the day, the 58-yard game winner. The Bills, Allen wasn't his best, still had 308 and 2 touchdowns. He also had 109 through the ground. So for whatever he lacked through the passing game, which wasn't much, he picked it up in the rushing game. So he had over 400 yards total offense, 3 touchdowns. He showed out. But unfortunately, he was playing the Buccaneers, he was playing Tom Brady, and Brady did Brady stuff, and the Bucs were able to get the win. The Packers take down the Bears 45-30. All credit due to the Packers because Aaron Rodgers. COVID, no problem, man. 29 for 37, 341, 4 touchdowns. Fields' return in this game was solid, but the 2 interceptions, turnovers, can kill you. Can absolutely kill you. Rodgers and Devontae Adams, though. Best quarterback receiver duo in the league. 10 receptions, 121, 2 touchdowns for Adams, and yeah. He said he owns him earlier in the season. He said he owns Chicago. He still owns him. The Bears had a little bit more resistance this time. Jakeem Graham with that insane 97-yard punt return. But Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, it's Rodgers and Adams, man. There's nothing else I need to say, man. Rodgers and Adams, they get it done. Packers looking very, 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 very good. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the Roundup. And we got to talk about F1 as in Abu Dhabi, we ended the year. Max versus Lewis. Lewis dominates the race all year. We had some controversy, though. As originally it was lap cars could not pass, right? They could not overtake. And then it was switched, late in the race, for whatever reason. So then they could overtake, which made it easier for Max to catch Lewis, which he did on the very last lap and as dramatic as possible for what has been an incredible year for F1. A very interesting year for F1. We had the most dramatic finish possible, late rule changes going up both ways, and then Max on the last lap passes Lewis and wins his very first championship, dethrones the GOAT, and yeah, first of what should be, I think it'll be a couple for Max, honestly speaking. Not that Lewis is going away, he still had a phenomenal year, and again, maybe if, those calls aren't made from the top F1, Lewis wins number 8, breaks Schumacher's record, you know what I mean? So it's an interesting situation. We'll see what happens, going into next season. I know Mercedes is protesting, so we'll see what happens there. George Russell coming over to be Lewis's new partner instead of Bottas, so we'll see what happens there. Carlos Sainz was phenomenal defense for Max in this one. But yeah, Max, he had a tremendous season. Not taking anything away from Max. He was great. Well-deserved win. Congrats to him. There's a new king in F1. MLS Cup. NYC FC finally wins their very first MLS Cup. Won 4-2 in penalties. That was after Felipe Mora had the latest goal in MLS Cup history to tie it up for Portland. But it was not to be. Valentina Castellanos, great all season. He got a goal in this game. But Alex Callens left no doubt. He left no doubt with that penalty. And NYCFC, congratulations. You win your first MLS Cup. Felt like it was a long time coming, but you finally got it done. To Canada, to the Canadian Football League. Yeah, we're going to talk about, I told you, we talk about everything. We talk about everything here on the A15 Exchange. We're going to talk about the CFL. We had the Grey Cup. Winnipeg took on Hamilton, the Ticats. the Bombers versus the Ticats. Winnipeg was able to get it done in overtime. Zach Colorosos, who was also the MOP, which is the MVP in Canada. He was most outstanding player. He was also MVP of the game, the Grey Cup. 2 touchdowns in this game, including the game winner. Winnipeg gets it done, and defense stacked. I mean, Winnipeg chalked up the awards. Adam Bighill was Defensive Player of the Year. O'Shea was Coach of the Year. Winnipeg. Hamilton, though, so close. So very close. But, yeah, that defense showed up late for Winnipeg, was able to get the clincher, and Winnipeg was able to take home back-to-back Grey Cups, so all credit due to the Blue Bombers. And, yeah, CFL always interests me. Always interests me. And just kind of the different rules, the different players, and just kind of the storylines there. It's cool to see. But, yeah, congrats to Winnipeg. Congrats on the Grey Cup, which, for those that don't know, what is the Grey Cup? What are you talking about? It's their Super Bowl. It's what the Super Bowl is. In Canada and the CFL, it's the Grey Cup. They call it the Grey Cup. It's got a super cool trophy if you want to look that up. But, yeah, congrats to Winnipeg. And the prodigal son returns, and I'm not talking about me returning to the 336 later in the week. I mean, Quinn Ewers, after he finessed the bag, one of the greatest finesse jobs in college football history, and really college sports history, he used that NIL money he got from Ohio State and said, you know what, I don't need my senior year, let me collect this 6-figure paycheck, develop with Ryan Day and this great quarterback room at Ohio State, and then I'm going to go back home. I'm going to go back to where I'm supposed to be, which is Texas. Quinn Ewers is going to Texas, former #1 overall recruit, again, perfect 1,000 recruit, so that makes him tied for the highest recruit ever, technically speaking. That's huge, absolutely huge. Texas has been making moves. Even after the horrific season they had, still been able to make moves with Sark at helm. They might have their very own version of the Cowboys triplets of Aikman, Emmett, and Irvin next year with Ewers, Worthy, and of course Bijan Robinson, who should be in Heisman candidacy. They're also picking up some 5-star offensive linemen. That offense is looking electric. Got to work on the defense still, but that offense is looking potentially electric. The prodigal son returns back home to Texas. Quinn is going back. I know, congrats Longhorn fans. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I have to now go study for this exam and edit the show and hopefully get it up at some point in time today. It's been a great time. I'm sure some of you guys will miss this blue couch. I'll miss it a little bit. But next time you see me, at least for the 8 for 10 exchange, we'll be back in the 336. So, for one final time in 2021, the first full year of the 8 for 10 exchange, from the 704, Ocho, signing off.